Hello, everybody, and welcome to Story Time with Mr. Hallum. I'm trying something new. I've got a microphone. I hope this helps. I don't know if it helps or not. Today, we're doing something a little different. I'm going to be reading a Choose Your Own Adventure book, The Abominable Snowman. Now, these books are from when I was a kid. These are some of my favorite books. The great part about the book is that there are 28 possible endings to the book. So you, as you read, you come to a thing and it'll say, you know, you have to make a choice. Do you split up or do you stay together? And then you, based on what you do, that was my text. I'll just hit the silent button there. Okay, so it'll change what happens. Now there's pictures, but not like normal. So it's more of a type book. So to make it fair, I have a coin. For those of you in my class, this is a 50-cent piece. And we have heads, and I have no coin. Excuse me 1 second.
You want me to get it for you?
All right. I think we're back. So I dropped my coin. So what I'm going to do is I'll read, and then when I get to a decision, I'll flip, and the heads will do the top choice. Tails, I'll do the bottom choice, okay? So here we go. The Himalayas form a great natural wall between India and China, with Nepal tucked in amid the peaks. Everest, K2, and Annapurna are the best known mountains in the Himalayas. These and many other peaks have been climbed. Still others lie in remote areas where few humans have gone. There, said Franz, in the high valleys beneath the snowfields, lives the Yeti, sometimes called the Abominable Snowman. The Yeti is said to be a huge beast, Franz tells you. Perhaps a cross between a gorilla and a human. People cannot agree what it is. Is the Yeti dangerous? Carlos asked. Franz shrugged. Some say it is. Other people say the Yeti is very gentle. Have you ever seen one? You inquire. No, almost no one has. The best proof of the Yeti's existence is a set of very large footprints discovered in the 1950s by a British expedition. No one has ever photographed one that I've heard, Franz answered, but still, the stories persist. You and Carlos decided then and there to find the Yeti. When you returned from South America, the two of you raised money for the International Foundation for Research into Strange Phenomenon. Your goal, proof positive that the Yeti exists. You will find and photograph the Yeti. That's what brings you to Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal. Your problems, though, have already begun. 2 days ago, Carlos left by helicopter to look over the terrain near Mount Everest. The helicopter returned without him. The pilot told you that Carlos decided to stay up in the Everest base camp to check out a report that a Yeti had been seen. He had a radio transmitter, but you have received no word from him. The weather turned bad and radio communication was interrupted. You have an appointment to speak with R.N. Runal, the Director of Expeditions and Mountain Research and an authority on the Yeti. He knows of your plans, but you need his help with official permits for the expedition. He will also have good advice and information. But what about Carlos? All right, so do we decide to go to the meeting, or do we decide to go and do we cancel the meeting, or do we go look for Carlos, or do we worry less about Carlos and go to the meeting? Here we go. Heads, tails. It's an awfully big coin. It flops. Heads. It says, you cancel your meeting with Rual and search for Carlos. Turn to page 7. You telephone Mr. Rual at the Foreign Ministry. This is an emergency, Mr. Runal. My friend Carlos is missing at base camp. I need help right now. Of course, I understand. Please allow me the honor of coming with you. I know the region well. You gladly accept the help from Mr. Renaud. His reputation as a mountaineer is excellent. He is able to arrange for a Royal Nepalese Army helicopter to meet you at the Tribhuvan Airport. 2 hours later, you land at the Everest Base Camp where Carlos was last seen. His red nylon mountain tent is still there, but the storm has erased all footprints. Most reports of the Yeti have them well below base camp, but it is possible that they are up this high, Brunei says, as the two of you stand by the tent looking at the glacier and the high peaks. All right. If you and Renai search below the base camp in the valley, or are we going above the base camp? Here we go. B. We're going above the base camp. I'm turning to page 13. So exciting. Here we go. Above the base camp are the dangerous seracs. These huge blocks of ice are always moving, and people climbing through this maze of ice are in constant danger. Runal leads the way. You both have crampons on your boots. A slender yellow and red nylon rope links the two of you. It's a safety rope. Watch out! Jump! A block of ice quivers and tumbles to the side, sending clouds of snow and ice crystals in the air. Runal has seen it just in time. You move across more slowly now, wary that these treacherous seracs. On the back side of the serac, as large as 2-story houses, you find him. Carlos is sitting in the sun, fidgeting with his camera. Hey, what are you guys doing here? That's what we want to know. You scared us to death with your disappearing act. What's up? Carlos puts the camera away, and after you introduce him to Renal, explains that he found tracks. Yeti tracks, perhaps, and followed them. He tried to radio, but the weather blocked it. The tracks faded, and he couldn't find his way back to camp. He had been sitting and waiting. Renal examines one track protected from drifting snow and explains that they are blue bear tracks and not Yeti tracks. So, disappointed, you go back to the helicopter and return to Kathmandu. No choices, just turn the page. The next day, you go to the shop of Sangri Pordag Sorba, a well-known Sherpa guide. Carlos stays with Runal getting the permits. You enter the store, and there, behind a counter stacked with dry foods in plastic bags, tanks of gas for mountain stoves, and wool hats, is Sangi Sorba. You introduce yourself, and immediately you like this man. He is warm and friendly, and recently he has been with a Japanese expedition to Pormoy and a French Everest attempt. Maybe you should ask him to join you as you search for the Yeti. All right, so do we ask him to come along, or do we wait and talk it over with Carlos? Let's flip. Oh, we ask him to come along, page 23. How about joining us on our search for the Yeti, Sangi? He smiles and hesitates. Then he picks up 2 sticks of incense. One is longer than the other. He lights them both. Their rich fragrance fills the air of his small store. You see, as one fragrance merges with the other, we do not know the difference between them. Only when the shorter stick burns out will we know which stick was the fragrance of the rose and which was the fragrance of the magnolia. You are puzzled by his talk of incense. You ask, so what does that mean? It does not mean anything. It only is. You are really confused now. What do? Perhaps you should leave this talk of incense alone and forget about asking Sangi to join you. Maybe he's crazy. All right, so back out of the offer or persist. Here we go. All right, we're going to back out of the offer. We're like, that man's crazy. Time to move on. Page 33. I don't think I understand. Before you come with us, I'd better talk to my partner. He's not far away. I'll go find him now. If I don't come back, don't wait for me. You move slowly towards the door. The incense smoke gets dense. In an instant, it is so thick you can't find the door. Gradually, you lose consciousness and drift into a lifelong coma. The end. What? That was it. That's the end of the story. What happened there? Well, I guess we'll never know. Maybe another time I'll read it, we'll get a different story. That's the fun part about the choose your own adventure, is that they change all the time. I apologize. My teacher friends are at lunch and now they're texting each other. So you guys have a great day. And if you want to hear another story from the Choose Your Own Adventure, just hit me up on Dojo and maybe we'll do one tomorrow. Although tomorrow's Friday, so it'll probably be Fun Friday with PHs everywhere. So we'll talk about that later. You guys have a great rest of the day, and we will talk to you tomorrow.